This is the full story of Absolute Batman's introduction to Arkham and his encounters with Mr. Freeze and Bane. Then, the Jeep bounces through the jungles of Tanzania. A young Victor Freeze stares out the window at the passing wildlife. He isn't looking forward to going up into the mountains and looking inside a glacier for his father's studies. But his father promises that there will be even more life inside the glacier, hidden away in the ice. But something is wrong with Victor. His eyes begin to go red, and blood leaks out like tears. Gotham City, present day. Snow falls from the night sky as the group of friends meet at a makeshift memorial to bid farewell to one of their own. Well, who wants to start? Ozzy, you probably knew him best. Anything you want to say? Waylon asks as he glances over his shoulder. But Ozzy shakes his head and motions to Harvey. I mean, it was crazy. I don't know. We all knew him, and Harvey's the one who likes to talk for a living, he says softly. They all draw out matchbooks and begin to light matches, gently tossing them into the memorial, mimicking a game they used to play as children. A game that their friend, Mitchell Matches Malone, was always the best at. So, who saw him last? Waylon finally asks. But a new voice makes them all look up. The voice of another friend that they thought was dead. I did. I was the last person to see him, Bruce says as he steps into the shadows of the alley. 1 week ago, Bruce was walking through the city. Gotham City had declared martial law since the fall of the party animals in Black Mask, with the mayor explaining that the more heavily armed police force was intended to protect its citizens from the likes of Batman and others. Bruce passes a group of cops, now armed like a military unit. Drones patrol the skies above and search for the vigilante, but Bruce has been quiet. He is kept low since Pennyworth has patched him up, agreeing that he needed to heal. But he stops and looks out over the bay, at the mystery Arkham facility that is being built on an island in the harbor. Bruce needs to get inside, so he looked to an old friend who is good at forging papers. Bruce, is that really you? Matches Malone says as he walks forward. Bruce smiles at his thin and slightly disheveled-looking friend and reaches to shake his hand. But Matches glances around and suddenly pulls Bruce away. Walk with me, buddy, Matches whispers. The two start walking, and Matches explains that he got Bruce's papers, but also made his own, and had been working on the island for a week. You didn't, Bruce whispers, cursing himself for not realizing that Matches would do this. He always stuck his neck out for the others when they were younger, but Matches smiles weakly and nods, explaining that something weird is going on in that place, that it is one of the worst prisons he's ever been in. And they're putting people in there already. It's up and running. I'm going back tomorrow, but you should take this, Matches says as he pulls out his phone and hands it to Bruce. Bruce turns away, unsure of what to say to his friend, but Matches puts a hand on his shoulder. Hey, it's good to see you, man. Truly. I miss you and the guys. Crime Alley life, right? And I wouldn't have done it if I didn't want to. I owe you for, Matches begins to say, but he suddenly gasps and chokes on his words. Bruce turns around and stares in shock as Matches begins to bleed from his pores and out his ears. He gasps and falls to the ground. All of his blood seemingly exploded from his body at once. Bruce stares down at his friend, and though it pains him, he realizes that he can't be caught with the body. He quickly reaches down for Match's phone and rushes away. Back in the alley, Bruce explains to his friends that Matches died from some sort of chemical weapon. There are some leads on his phone, clues. I'll get the person who did this, I promise. But I just wanted to tell you that, Bruce says as he begins to turn away. But his friends become angry, pointing out that he should have told them about being Batman. We thought you were dead. The last thing any of us heard about you was you diving from Ozzy's plane dressed like Nosferatu. Edward points out, but Bruce shakes his head. There's nothing to say about it. I should have kept you apart from all of this. All of you, Bruce tells them, but his friends disagree, pointing out that he worked with each of them in some aspect to help train himself for being Batman. But Bruce just shakes his head and turns to walk away, growling that he needs to get back to work. Later, Bruce has gone through Match's phone. The clues point to a list of researchers for Arc M, including the name of Victor Fries, owner of the V-Corps Corporation that works out of Gotham. Bruce tracked their headquarters to a building that uses enough power to light a city block. That night, Batman hunts once more. A snowstorm swirls through the night sky, and Batman glides on his wings, knowing that the patrolling drones will be blind in the storm. But his luck doesn't hold as the storm stops halfway to his target. The police immediately spot the Dark Knight and send the remote drones after him. So Batman goes low, folding his cape and diving down to street level, using his cape's claws to latch onto the rail tracks and swing out of the drone's way. Suddenly, his comms buzz. "Bruce, I have information," Alfred says over the line. "I'm listening." Bruce grunts as he dodges another attack from the drones. There's a pause. "How's your arm? Are you resting?" Alfred asks, but he already knows the answer. "Yeah, what did you find out?" Bruce continues. Alfred explains that he tracked down the agent that killed Matches and discovered that it wasn't a biological weapon, but a bacterium. "There's no record of it, not in the UK or at the WHO, Alfred explains. "Then where did it come from?" Bruce questions as he swoops low. Two police officers spot him and prepare to open fire, but Batman lashes out with his cape claws and hooks one of them. A quick flick of the cape sends the officer into his partner. "We don't know. I'll be back in a few days and we can track it down. Until then, take care of yourself, kid," Alfred orders. Batman leaps up and begins to scale the building, heading for the roof access as he hangs up with his new partner. Inside, Bruce switches back to his civilian clothes, pretending to be an inspector from the power company, making sure the building is up to code. Inside the offices of V-Corps, he finds several prehistoric creatures frozen in ice. He puts a hand to the glass, marveling at how real they look. "They're all real, if that's what you're wondering," a voice calls out. Bruce turns as a blonde scientist steps out from the inner offices. "The mammoth is from Yukon, the tiger from Siberia, and the beetle from Chile. Neat, huh?" the man says with a smile. The man doesn't seem suspicious of Bruce as he explains he is here for an inspection. "Oh, please look around. If there's anything I can do for you, just say. Even if it's just a midnight tour." Dr. Freeze and his wife collected all kinds of wild specimens, the scientist says. Bruce nods as he stares out the window and looks back at the man. "Do they still oversee things here then? Victor and Nora Freeze?" he asks. The scientist pauses for a moment, but finally turns and taps a button on the wall. "I guess you could say that, yes," he says as the wall slides away, revealing a cryogenics tank with the bodies of Victor and Nora frozen within. Their faces pulled into horrible grimaces. "I'm their son, Victor Jr., the scientist explains. He motions to the bodies as he notices Bruce's look of horror. "I know it seems extreme, but it's what they wanted," he says, explaining that they founded V-Corps to freeze those suffering from terminal diseases, hoping that one day a cure would be found. "Has anyone actually been revived?" Bruce asks, still staring up at the frozen scientists. Victor nods. He puts a hand on the glass as he explains that he had a rare terminal disorder, so his parents froze him. Bruce nods as he turns away. "So, I guess the ice saved you," he says. Victor nods sadly. "Yes. Still, they told me it wouldn't hurt. When I woke up, the world would be a better place. But the ice... Oh, it's not what they thought. Not at all," Victor says. Bruce's eyes widen as Victor's voice seems to change, becoming more rigid, cold. He turns back and stares as the man's skin goes gray. His veins become blue, his eyes turned red. I felt everything, every moment, and the pain. My God, ice grinds and twists. The ice isn't grace, it is fury. It's reckoning, Victor says as he turns back to Bruce, his body twisting and having become monstrous. The ice births monsters, just like me. Now to the land of ice we go, Victor says as he reaches out and grabs Bruce by the face, his icy grip tightening and pulling Bruce closer. The fingers tighten on his ankle as Victor Freeze drags Bruce down the corridor. Bruce tries to open his eyes, but the lids feel heavy and they close again. Memories flash before him, standing in the snow with his friends at the Matches Memorial. Bruce has turned away, prepared to continue the mission alone. But Waylon puts a hand on his shoulder. Don't you even think about running, Bruce. There's no getting out of this one, Waylon warned him. Freeze rounds the corner and drags Bruce into the main chamber. He stops and turns back. All right, Mr. Pennyworth, or whatever your name is, let's get you ready, Freeze says as he leans forward. Bruce's hand snaps up and grabs him by the throat, but the hero is too weak, and Freeze smiles as he gently moves it away. Shh, easy now, easy, he whispers. When Bruce awakens again, he is strapped inside one of the stasis tubes. Victor stands nearby, connecting the machine to the system. Ah, good! I hope you enjoyed your rest. There won't be any sleeping in the ice after all. The pain won't let you, he says as he turns his blood-red eyes back towards Bruce. He motions to the other stasis tubes in the chamber, explaining that each is filled with the elite of Gotham, who hoped the ice could save them from the sin and pain of their lives, hoping that everything would be fixed or forgiven on the other end. But the ice isn't salvation. It's the memory of all we want to forget. It's vengeance, Freeze whispers as he flips the switch. Bruce glances up as the system begins to activate, and freezing cold liquid begins to pour into his tube. The liquid begins to hit his skin, and he lets out a cry of pain as his skin begins to feel like it's burning. Victor nods in satisfaction and turns away, explaining that the liquid is so cold that the hypothermia taking over Bruce's body scrambles the nerves and makes it feel like burning. It's why people freeze to death to remove their clothes. Don't worry, soon the suffering will pass beyond hot or cold, he says as he walks towards the door. He stops as he turns off the chamber lights, leaving Bruce shadowed in the darkness. All you'll want is death for the first 30 years or so, but hopefully, like me, you'll come to accept it and even love it. The pain, Victor calls before leaving. Bathed in darkness, more memories flash before his eyes. He stands in the alley with his friends and shrugs off Waylon's hand. Don't make me hurt you, Bruce snaps at him. But the others have gathered now, and Waylon is angrily pointing at him. If you leave now, you're no better than Matches, Waylon snaps. You'll be a coward, and Batman will be too, Waylon continues as Bruce stares at him in shock. Anger flashes across Bruce's face, and he rushes at Waylon, slamming into him hard. Bruce opens his eyes wide in the stasis tank. He can see the past, images of the city, of his childhood, the man who shot his father. Every cell in his body shrieks in pain. His mind is in agony. Waylon whirled on him, and Bruce punched him in the face. He went for another blow, but Waylon ducks under it and hits Bruce in the chin, forcing him back. Ozzy told us how you went after Black Mask, jumping on that boat with no way off. That was a suicide mission, Bruce, just like this one. Waylon snaps as he kicks out and hits Bruce in the stomach, knocking him to the ground. Waylon stands over him, his friends all around, just like every dare that Matches ever took, because he always felt guilty, always felt like it was his fault. Being the last one in the door that day, your father going back for him at the zoo, Waylon says. Bruce glares at him, but Waylon shakes his head and holds out a hand for his friend. Just like you always felt guilty, because it was you who got us on the trip to the zoo. All those years, Matches let it eat him up inside, man, until he was nothing. But you're not there, are you? Waylon asked. The anger fell out of Bruce, and he reached up for his friend's hand, allowing Waylon to pull him up. We're not done yet, man. Come on, get up, Waylon tells him with a smile. Bruce opens his eyes in the tank. He flexes his finger, and the cast he's worn breaks apart, revealing the Batarang launcher that he built. The tank is almost full now, and he flexes again and it fires. The Batarang shoots out and hits the glass, cracking it. Another fire, another crack. One last round. Bruce flexes, and it flies. Nearby, Freeze is leaning over his console. How? His employer asks over a speaker. Victor looks at the readouts on the screen, explaining that it is a bacterium that died off 100,000 years ago. My snowfall? The markers in the crystals. Anyone whose skin touched it should already be fully readable to you, he whispers. There's a short pause before the answer. Well done. I'm looking at over 92% of Gotham's genetic profiles. Anyone give you trouble over the Malone man? The voice asks. But Victor smiles and shakes his head. No one worth mentioning. He was a nobody. I don't expect anyone else to come knocking, he says. But suddenly, the door to the office bursts in behind him. Victor whirls as Batman stomps through the door. Batman? Ha! What are you doing here? Freeze laughs, but Batman just smiles as he holds up his gauntlet, showing the flamethrower attached. I heard you like pain, he hisses as he activates the flame. Freeze lets out an inhuman hiss and launches forward, stretching his impossibly long limbs and reaching for the Dark Knight. But Batman steps back and brings the torch to the man's face, pushing him back with a howl of pain. Bruce is moving slowly. His blood is like sludge in his veins, and he's fighting the urge to shiver. He lashes out with his cape tendrils, but Freeze is impossibly fast, his limbs sliding through the attack as he leaps to the ceiling. He grabs Batman by the face and slams him hard into the wall, cracking the concrete. Batman shakes his head as he struggles to his feet. Ugh, that all you got? He grunts, but Freeze is already heading back to his console, tapping a few buttons, and he turns with a smile and motions to the stasis tanks in the chamber. Nice! Seems you love pain too. You're in good company here. See? Freeze hisses as the tanks begin to open, revealing the shriveled blue bodies of the elite who chose to freeze themselves. The strange creatures rush at Batman, howling as they reach for him. Batman's eyes widen in horror, but he has no choice but to fight back, slamming his fist into the brittle things that were once human. but there are too many, and they begin to overwhelm him, threatening to pull his body apart. They claw at his face, and just past the horde of monsters, he can see Freeze smiling. "Come on! Don't give up now! I'm right here!" Freeze calls. Back in the alley, the others look to Bruce. Waylon stops smiling and asks Bruce if he wants to die. "Because your dad, he didn't want to die. And it wasn't his death that made him a hero. It was his life. That's the hard part, man," Waylon says as he lights a match and turns back to the memorial of Matches Malone, their friend. "You can't let it crush you. We're survivors. So Batman needs to be one too," Waylon says, and the others nod in agreement. They turn to Bruce again. "Do you want to die?" Waylon asks softly. Batman shakes his head. He pushes off the horde and turns away, running towards the hole in the wall. He leaps hard and fast, crushing through the concrete and falling away from the building. He plummets through the air, wind whipping past him as he lashes out with his cape tendrils, stabbing them into the building. They grip the concrete and slow him until he is hanging upside down. Batman hangs there, catching his breath. Finally, he puts a call to Waylon, trying to warn him about Freeze, about something in the snow, but his friend doesn't answer. That night, Waylon is returning to his gym, but someone jumps him from behind, knocking him out. The men in suits stand over him, reading the data on their tablets. "He's the perfect specimen. Take him to Arc M," the leader says before they turn away. The neutral territory of Alagab Bialya. The leaders of Kahndaq and Kurak are meeting, their security guards posted in the hallway outside. The two lean forward and shake hands. "I can't believe it. It's like I'm dreaming," the leader of Kahndaq says. "Today we honor all the lives lost by saying enough," the Kurak president says. They shake hands firmly, agreeing upon a final peace between their two nations. They stand and head for the door. "Peace will be our legacy," they agree. But both men stop. They look down, their eyes widening in surprise as blood begins to seep from the hallway into the room. The door opens wide, revealing a massive man. "Hello," Bane says calmly as he steps into the room, cracking the door frame as he shifts his massive body inside. "Forgive me for interrupting, gentlemen. I was elated when I heard whispers about these peace talks," Bane says as both leaders stare up at him. "Which is why I was so crushed to hear about their breakdown when one of you betrayed the other in this very room, killing him and plunging your countries back into war," Bane tells them. He leans down, shifting his gaze back and forth between the two men. "Which one of you was it again?" Bane asks quietly. The leader from Kurak doesn't hesitate. "I'll do it," he hisses. Bane's hand snaps out quickly and grabs the Kahndaq president by the face. The man struggles as he is lifted into the air, but Bane's hand tightens. Bones begin to crack beneath his powerful fingers, and the man's eyes suddenly burst as his skull is turned to pulp. Bane drops the man to the floor and suddenly turns, grabbing the Kurak president by the throat and tightening his grip ever so slightly. "Later today, you'll give a speech declaring an escalation of operations. My employers have faith in your leadership skills, Omar. As do I," Bane says as he lowers the man to the floor and releases him. Suddenly, his coat pocket buzzes. "Forgive me, I have to take this," Bane says as he answers the phone. The voice on the other end of the line murmurs, "Gotham City, I'm on my way." Bane says before turning to leave. Meanwhile, in Gotham, it's been 2 weeks since the abduction of Waylon Jones. In that time, Batman has become a man on a mission. He is relentless in his search for his friend, waging war against the Maronis and the Falcone crime families. No criminal is safe as Batman works each night, breaking bones and trying to find answers. He overfills the hospitals. They've run out of ambulances and have had to use ride shares to transport the wounded. Eventually, one EMT worker has to borrow a rickshaw. The EMT worker shakes his head as he breathes heavily and continues to pedal. Batman. Dick Grayson whispers to himself as he keeps pedaling. But Batman isn't getting any answers. And finally, he reaches out to someone who can help. Harvey says it's temporary. Barbara Gordon tells her father as she cooks dinner in between her shifts, trying to explain the department's military buildup. But she suddenly stops cooking. Hey Dad, let me call you back, Barbara tells her father, because someone is calling her from the other room. Officer Gordon. Officer Gordon, I need your help. A voice growls. Barbara grabs her pistol and rounds the corner quickly, raising the weapon. But all she finds is the bat cowl that she has been working on since the party animal riots. Barbara Gordon, I need your help. Batman repeats over the radio. A short time later, Barbara arrives at the abandoned Gotham Zoo. Batman? I have your file, she calls out. Batman suddenly steps out of the shadows. Where is he? Batman growls. But Barbara holds the file close to her chest. Not so fast. First, why me? She demands. Batman stares at her for a moment before stepping forward. Because I've seen you in action. You're a good cop. Please, who took him? Batman says softly. Barbara nods and hands over the file. Apparently, us, she tells him. Later, Ozzy slams his fist against the table. Arkham? For what? He demands. Bruce nods and motions to the files, looking up at his gathered friends. The files say breaking city lockdown. It makes no sense, Bruce says. Harvey nods as he looks through the files, pointing out that the city has already claimed all of Waylon's assets. Edward taps his chin as he ponders the riddle. Why would they do that? Unless he's not coming back, he points out. Alfred steps out from the shadows, explaining that these arcs are global and that they act as black sites. Rumors are that very bad things happen in them. Abominable things, Alfred explains to them. They quickly begin to work out a plan for Batman to slip inside Arkham and rescue Waylon. Ozzy leans over the table. Do you hear how crazy this is? He shouts. Bruce smashes his fist into the table with anger. And? You wanted in on Batman! Well, this is Batman! Bruce yells. Ozzy steps up to his friend. Hey man, I was just saying it's crazy. I wasn't saying that we shouldn't do it. Meanwhile, Jim Gordon and Martha Wayne are watching what is happening to their city. Gordon has lost the election, and now Mayor Hill is beefing up the police department. You have to get back out there. You are the police, Martha tells him as she continues to pack. But Gordon shakes his head, reminding her that they lost, that they are packing up the campaign office. Then we get another office. This isn't our Gotham, Martha snaps at him. But Jim looks at her, reminding her that she has always backed him up. I've been thinking about it, and it's past time that I followed you. So, what's next for Martha Wayne? He asks. Later, beneath the water of Gotham Bay, Batman prepares himself. Alfred nods as he checks his equipment. Listen, kid, he begins to say. What is it? I need to go, Batman says. Alfred hesitates for a moment. Nothing. Good luck, he says to him. Batman launches himself from the bat tank and into the water, listening to Alfred over the comms as he directs the Dark Knight into the tunnels that will lead him to Arc M. Batman makes his way inside, finally finding the grate that should lead him to the facility. "All right, I'm near the entry point," Batman whispers over the comms, but Alfred shakes his head as he stares at the monitors. "No, that can't be right. You're too low," Alfred says to him, explaining that he's still at least 100 meters beneath the prison. But Batman peeks through the vent and stares in shock. "What is it?" "Bruce, what are you looking at?" Alfred asks. Batman pulls himself free of the pipe and stares at the massive subterranean cavern. "The real Arc M," Batman says softly. He descends to the city and begins to move through the shadows, finally finding his way into the command structure. Batman stops as he looks at a strange glass case, which houses the skeleton of some kind of winged man. A man-bat. "Pennyworth, come in. I don't know what I'm looking at anymore," Batman hisses, but the comms are silent. "Pennyworth! Are you there?" He calls into the comms, and for the first time, Alfred can hear fear in his voice. But he turns as something massive steps from the shadows. "Hello," Bane says softly, before lashing out and kicking Batman in the chest, knocking him away. Batman rolls to his feet and reaches for his bat claws, readying himself, but Bane doesn't advance. He holds up his hand and motions the Dark Knight forward. "Go on, it's okay," he says. Batman tosses the weapons, stabbing Bane in the chest, but the villain doesn't react. "You can advance now," he offers. Batman hesitates for a moment at his opponent's calm demeanor before charging forward. He lashes out with a left jab, but Bane blocks it and easily reaches out and hits a pressure point in his elbow. Batman staggers back, his arm useless. Bane doesn't advance. "It's all right. Focus. You have another arm," he says. Batman charges again, swinging his right in a powerful haymaker. But Bane dodges and reaches out, hitting another pressure point before punching him in the chest. Batman stumbles back, both arms hanging uselessly at his sides. Bane takes a step forward. "Hey, up here." "That's right. You've still got your legs," he suggests. Batman glares at him, breathing heavily. "F you!" he shouts before launching forward with a round kick. But Bane once again ducks underneath it and hits another pressure point, following it up with a left hook across Batman's jaw. Batman staggers and falls to one knee. "Is that all you got? I only need one leg to kick your ass, you juiced up," he gasps. But Bane shakes his head. "Juiced up? Friend, I haven't even used this stuff yet. But if you want to see what it does," he explains. He taps a button, and Batman watches as the pumps and tubes connected to his body begin to work. Bane's body begins to twist and grow, his muscles becoming massive as the red and green liquid flows through them, pushing against his skin in a grotesque mockery of the human body. "What are you?" Batman gasps. Bane reaches out and grabs him by the throat, easily lifting him into the air. "Call me Bane. Welcome to your new home," Bane growls at him. "Now, let's get you prepped for surgery." June, Gotham. Martha Wayne is already worried about her missing son, but Jim Gordon tries to calm her. "Mar, it's only been a few days," he starts to explain, but she won't listen. Something's wrong with Bruce. She can feel it. Somewhere else, near Gotham, Dr. Arkham reaches down for her recorder and taps the button and begins her report on Subject 27 as she watches him on the monitors. Sedated male presented at 6 foot 9 inches, 421 pounds. 6 staff were required to carry him in. Removal of his costume triggered a series of booby traps. Numerous injuries incurred. The subject remains under heavy sedation. All data suggests he'll remain incapacitated for at least 48 hours. End doctor's log. Dr. Arkham explains. Bruce opens his eyes. He struggles to his feet and looks around. The cell is a blank white, but he finds the door. Reaching into his mouth, he removes the lockpick he hid within his upper jaw. He ignores the blood that fills his mouth as he picks the lock on the door. It slides open and he moves into the shadows of the corridor outside. Bruce moves quickly but cautiously, sliding past strange experiments behind glass walls. Begin doctor's log. The subject has escaped his environment and is currently at large. Initial visuals place him in the Southwest Complex, possibly en route to the clay biome, Dr. Arkham reports. Bruce moves into a new area. The ground seems to give and squish beneath his feet. He looks down as hands begin to rise up from the floor. It hurts! Hurts so bad! A voice whispers. Bruce's eyes widen in shock as a face begins to form beneath him, and he realizes the floor is made of morphing human flesh. The hands grasp at him, holding him in place and pulling him down. Get off! Bruce shouts, but he looks up as something massive steps from the shadows. Hello again, Bane says politely, before hitting Bruce hard enough to knock him out. The massive villain stares down as Bruce falls to the floor, his landing cushioned by the clay arms. Subject 27 apprehended by the Prime. Will need infirmary stay before being returned to his environment. End doctor's log. Dr. Arkham reports. Keep trying, please. Bane tells the unconscious man. Sometime in the past, the crew sits on the couch and watch Wayland's next opponent. That's him there, the big one. That's Bibbo, Wayland says as he points to the boxer. Bruce waves away the idea. He's not so big, Way, Bruce says. Oswald shakes his head. He looks pretty f***ing big to me, he points out. They watch as Bibbo hits his opponent again and again. See? His left is not as fast, Bruce says as he points at the screen. But Oswald shakes his head. That actually looked pretty f***ing fast, he points out. Wayland jumps up and starts to shadow box. I'm coming for you, Bibbo, he snaps. He turns back to the group who are looking at him with concern. Come on, he's not that tough, Wayland says with a shrug. But Oswald shakes his head. I mean, he looks pretty f***ing tough, he begins to point out. Shut up, Oz, will you? Harvey cuts him off. But Bruce is there for his friend, training with him every day, getting him ready for the fight. July, Gotham. Martha has gone to Harvey Dent for help. It's been a month since Bruce's disappearance. She's worried. Somewhere else, near Gotham, Dr. Arkham watches, reporting that Subject 27 has become more docile in his 45 days of captivity. He barely reacts to the staff that come in and clean his cell. It has stopped eating, forcing them to attach a feeding tube to his stomach. It's the staff's diagnosis that Subject 27 has finally fallen into total submission. End doctor's log. Dr. Arkham reports. The door to Bruce's cell slides open and the cleaning staff walks in. Bruce's eyes snap open. He moves quickly, jumping to his feet and lashing out, kicking the first one in the chin, knocking him to the ground and spraying the wall with blood. Bruce whirls, hitting them again and again. Update. Staff diagnosis may have been premature. Dr. Arkham reports, explaining that Subject 27's docility was performative and that he had pulled out some of his own teeth and was using them as sharp weapons. He had also weaponized the feeding tube and was using it to spray stomach acid on the staff. Bruce whirls again, slashing one of the staff members across the face before lifting the feeding tube and spraying another. The sound of sizzling flesh and screams fill the cell. Perhaps the most impressive was what he did with his latrine. After collecting a large amount of guano inside and then urinating on it for weeks, Subject 27 was able to create a highly flammable compound, not unlike gunpowder, which he then used to explode the wall of his cell, Dr. Arkham reports. The wall detonates outward, and Bruce moves into the shadowy corridors beyond. He doesn't move slowly this time, running past the experiments he saw before. He slips past the cells and disappears into the walls. Reports imply that Subject 27 may have gone north, towards the Isley ecosystem, Dr. Arkham explains. Bruce keeps moving, now finding a massive forest within the compound. He steps into the trees, but suddenly he turns as one of the trunks opens eyes and stares at him. Vines reach out and wrap around his body, holding him tightly. Something steps from the trees. Strange creatures made of bark and muck. Out! The green wants out! A female voice whispers. She opens her mouth and vines shoot forward, pulling at Bruce and writhing into his mouth and eyes. Let us out! The woman hisses, but a massive hand reaches out and grabs the tree woman's head, ripping it from her body and tossing it away. Hey there, Bane says to Bruce as he stalks closer. He raises his fists and begins to pummel Bruce again and again. So close. Don't give up, please, Bane tells him. August, Gotham. Martha Wayne has begun to hand out flyers. No one has seen Bruce. Somewhere else. Bruce gets to his feet. His head is shaved. Strange green veins are beneath his skin. Dr. Arkham reports, Day 91. Subject 27 shows remarkable resilience. After 2 weeks of surgeries, he has managed to survive the full cycle, unlike all 26 subjects before him. 27's body is ready. All that remains is for him to finally surrender in spirit, she reports. She believes that he has, but the Prime suggests that they test him one last time. Bruce turns. The Batsuit is hanging in his cell, staring at him. But Bruce shakes his head and turns away. Just leave me alone. It's over. Don't you get it? There's no winning. Bruce hisses at it, but he turns back. The cowl continues to stare at him. The cell wall explodes outwards as Batman thunders through it, his massive axe in hand. He doesn't slow. He isn't cautious. He pushes through the shadowy corridors, past the experiments. He comes to another enclosure. The sign's naming it the Langstrom Experiments. The staff watches from an enclosed cell as Batman comes to a stop. Creatures slink from the shadows before him. Grotesque monsters. People that have been warped and mutated into animal hybrids. A bat-like creature leads the pack. Help us! It hisses. Batman stares at them. His mind wandered back to Waylon. His friend leans against the ropes of a training ring. All right, full honesty. You believe I can win, right? Bruce? Waylon asks. Bruce glances at his friend. Of course I believe you can win. You're Waylon Croc Jones. Now let's get back into the ring, Bruce told him. Batman looks at the monsters before him. I don't know how to help you, he says softly. Then make it stop! The monsters groan. But suddenly, Bane leaps from the shadows, lashing out with a kick that sends Batman through a nearby glass cell. I knew you had more in you. We're more alike than you know, Bane tells him. He moves forward, prepared to keep hitting Batman. But something flashes from the cell that Batman shattered. A massive lizard-like creature leaps free and slams into Bane. The big fighter tries to get to his feet, but the green creature lashes out with its tail, knocking him into another glass cell, shattering the glass and landing on the staff, killing them instantly with his size. Batman struggles to his feet and looks at the man-croc in shock as it eats two more scientists. The creature turns, and Bruce recognizes his friend's face. Waylon? He gasps. He steps forward slowly. Wait, it's me, Bruce, Batman whispers. The croc leans in and sniffs him. Bane struggles to his feet and looks up. He finds Batman before him, riding on the back of the killer croc. The monster lets out a roar before the pair leap away, disappearing into the shadows of the compound. Subject 27 continues to exceed expectations, just as the Prime and I predicted. He and Mutation 523 are fleeing to the sewers. Dr. Arkham reports before ending her log. She turns as Bane approaches her. Excited for the final phase? She asks. Bane nods his head solemnly. Very excited, Dr. Arkham. Because now I truly get to break him. Alfred had known the truth before Bruce had embarked to Arkham. He'd known the man they were calling in, known the history of the one they called Bane. He was born on an island called Santa Prisca, which had known fighting for hundreds of years. He was born amidst a battle, and his father, the leader of the rebels, picked him up and carried onward. The boy was raised among the rebels, growing up in the jungles of Santa Prisca as the men and women fought to take back their country. His father would always look up to the sky, asking the boy if he saw the Quetzal, Santa Prisca's bird of freedom, but the boy never did. One day, the rebels took the capital, the boy fighting alongside them. They held it for 4 days. But the corrupt government called in mercenaries, fighters who were better trained and better armed than the rebels. The rebellion fell quickly. The survivors were sentenced to life imprisonment in Peña Duro, an infamous prison off the coast of Santa Prisca. The boy, now practically a man, was with them. The men were packed into a cell where the boy would scratch the days on the wall. By the day, the guards would beat them into submission. By night, the tides would rise and flood their cells. The boy learned to sleep while clinging to the ceiling of their cell. He learned to hunt and cook rats to survive, to pick the fleas from his skin every morning. But his father always spoke of the bird of freedom that flew high in the sky. The Quetzal will fly. We will not break. His father asked him at night, hanging from the cage, if he could see the bird flying free. The boy closed his eyes and saw his own bird, made of white fire, the skull of its back. Eventually, the rebels rose up. The boy, now a man, led them to overtake the prison, capturing the guards' weapons. They broke free and stormed the beach and secured the prison's boats. But there, they all stopped for a moment. None of them had seen the sky for 10 years. It is here that the boy's father gives his son a gift, a mask made from their flag, the bird of freedom stitched into it. When the boy pulls it on, it looks like a skull on his face. The rebels cross the bay, preparing themselves for the fight to overtake the capital. But they do not find soldiers on the beach. They merely find a man dressed in white, with a smile on his face. The boy orders his men to wait and steps forward to talk to the man. The father watches as whispered words are exchanged, an agreement made. The man in white smiles and finally pats the boy on the chest. He turns away and boards a helicopter, leaving them behind. The boy returns to his father and puts a hand on his shoulder. "Can you see it, father? Can you see your dream of peace?" The boy asks as he pulls his father into a hug. "I see it now. In you," the father whispers. The boy tightens his embrace sharply, and the father's spine snaps in half. This is where Bane's history truly begins. A long string of murders. A diplomat's plane explodes over Guangzhou, Bane pressing the detonator. A journalist is killed in Dubai. Bane slits his throat. Pirates are slaughtered in the Red Sea. Bane's knife plunges into their stomachs. A bombing in London. Bane watching from a distance. Each one shaping the world for the man in white, for the JK Corporation. The boy is transformed, warped by the venom that flows through his veins. The venom gives him total control over his own muscles, his very cells bending to his will. It enhances his mind, holding whole libraries of information. Every method of fighting he knows. Every weapon he knows. Every battle in history he knows. He becomes the man known as Bane. This is the man that has come to Gotham. The man that has come for Bruce, for Batman. And Alfred knows exactly how it'll go. He tracks him through the city, finally arriving at his safe house. But Batman doesn't wait for him to break down the door. He comes through the wall, a battle cry on his lips. "Hello again," Bane calls as venom begins to pump through his veins. Batman charges forward, but Bane whirls and kicks him hard, sending him flying backwards. Bane stomps forward, but he realizes that he is surrounded by cars. Too late. He realizes his mistake. Batman presses the button on the detonator, trapping the mercenary in a killbox explosion. But it isn't enough. Batman's eyes widen as Bane charges through the fire, slamming into him hard. Blows are traded back and forth, but Batman can't defeat the venom-powered soldier. He reaches for his axe and swings it, embedding the blade in Bane's shoulder. But even this isn't enough. Bane pulls the blade free and swings it, slicing Batman's arm off at the shoulder. Blood sprays in the air as Batman falls to the ground. Bane swings the blade again, and Batman's other arm is sliced off at the elbow. Batman falls to the ground, blood pooling beneath him. Bane stands over him, victorious, but he isn't done. He raises the axe, bringing it down again and again into Batman's face, crushing the bones and breaking him. Later, Batman is returned to Arkham. His armless and shattered body is thrown to the floor by Bane. Dr. Arkham waits for them, already wearing her surgical scrubs. "Prep him," she orders her assistants. And so the work begins. They strive to create something like Bane, to replicate his success, to make more soldiers for the Man in White. There have been others. One in Russia, known as the KG Beast. Another in the Middle East. And one that Alfred knows too well, codenamed Deathstroke. But most die from the procedure, or the venom in their veins kills them. But Bruce is strong. His body can take the surgery, and they make him what they want of him. Occasionally, Bane returns to Santa Prisca to visit his family, his wife and children. The island is now a paradise. War was stopped by the Man in White, and all it took was Bane's soul. This is what they want from Batman as well, to make him the hero that Gotham needs. After a successful surgery, the new Batman now stands ready to take back his city, to make it a paradise. The venom flowing through his veins, his body augmented by the drug and machines. He is armed with weapons to destroy his enemies. This is what they want. But for this to work, they can't break Batman. Batman must choose to break, like Bane did. Bane knows that he's still out there, unbroken, safe, for now. But Bane isn't merely a physical powerhouse. He is a tactical genius. He knows how to make Batman choose to break. That is why he didn't go to Batman's safe house, but instead to theirs. He breaks through the door of a different building, Wayland's gym, where he finds Batman's friends, cowering in fear. Bane towers over them. He knows the real way to break Batman is by breaking them. Deep beneath Gotham City, Wayland finally surfaces from the murky sewage waters and pushes Batman to safety. Bruce coughs up a lungful of the dirty water and looks back at his mutated friend, now part crocodile. You saved me," he gasps. Wayland pulls his massive body out of the water, staying low as he crawls towards Batman. "Now you save me," he hisses. Bruce nods, promising to find a cure. But Wayland opens his mouth wide, showing rows of sharp teeth. "No!" he growls. "The hunger, Bruce. It hurts too much. Please, save me." Bruce nods his head in understanding and pulls off one of his ear blades. He raises it up and brings it down quickly, but the blade merely cracks the concrete next to Wayland's head. I can't," Bruce whispers to his friend. "Then I will," Wayland says angrily as he reaches for the blade, prepared to take his own life. "What? No!" Bruce says as he kicks him away. "We can beat this, Wayland," Bruce promises. Wayland roars in anger at him and leaps back into the water. "I should have left you in that place," Wayland whispers before disappearing into the darkness. Bruce calls out for his friend for a moment, but his body finally gives up and he collapses to the concrete. Memories swirl through his mind. He and Selina are standing in a penthouse apartment, overlooking the city while the realtor spouts off details about their lease. "Something's bothering you," Selina whispers up to Bruce. He nods gently. It's Wayland. I don't know what to do. He's not going to listen to me. He believes that he can win against Bibbo, Bruce tells her. Selena nods and pulls herself close to his chest. Then help him win. Do it the same way we got this place. If the rules aren't fair, stop playing by them. She whispers gently as she looks out over the city. Now, Bruce wakes up with a gasp and finds Alfred standing over him. Easy, easy. It's been 20 days since I found you collapsed on the floor of this place, Alfred says softly as he begins to examine Bruce. But the young man pushes him away. 20 days! Bruce snaps in shock. Alfred nods as he shines a light in Bruce's eyes. Yes, and you need a hell of a lot more. The things they did to your body, I'm not sure you can fully comprehend, Alfred says, explaining that they wove a venom delivery system throughout his spine and brain. But Bruce pushes him aside and reaches for his street clothes. I'm fine, Pennyworth, he mumbles. Quickly, Bruce heads out into the city, walking through the streets, but he suddenly stumbles. He can feel the venom pulsing through his veins, through his mind. He struggles against it, regaining his sense of self and pushing forward. Finally, he arrives at his mother's home. He steps through the front door and stands before her shocked gaze. She moves and rushes towards him. Oh, thank God, she whispers as she pulls him into a hug. Mom, I'm so sorry, Bruce whispers to her. She pulls away and starts to cry. I was so scared of getting that phone call again, every time it rang. And then, with what happened to Ozzy, she whispers. Bruce stares down at her, fear growing in his eyes. Hold on, Ozzy? He asks. Quickly, they arrive at Gotham General Hospital. Bruce and Martha push past the cops, with Bruce thanking Mayor Gordon for watching over his mother. He then pushes past everyone and steps into Oswald's room. Dr. Leslie Tompkins waits for him, warning him for what he's about to see. Bruce stares in horror at his friend. Oswald's body has been broken and twisted beyond recognition. Bruce, I've never seen anything like this, Leslie whispers. Whoever did this is an abomination, she continues. Days ago, Bane steps into the safe house and looks down at the group of lifelong friends and stares at them. Who the hell are you supposed to be? Ozzy snaps at him, but Bane's arm shoots out impossibly fast and wraps around Ozzy's neck. You want so badly to be big, don't you? The pink Jim Rom muscles, the lifts in your shoes. Bane growls before throwing Oswald to the ground. He begins to hit him again and again, the bones crunching with each blow. Bruce can't look away as Leslie explains that every bone in Oswald's body was broken, that if he survives, he'll be 2 feet shorter, and his arms and legs will never be the same. He'll live in a life of constant pain, she whispers. Bruce finally blinks and nods his head. I'll do whatever I can. We all will. Has Harvey come by? He asks, but Leslie shakes her head. Harvey? Did they not tell you? Harvey's in the next room, she says softly. Bruce goes to see his next friend, shocked to see half of Harvey's body wrapped in bandages. Harvey had rushed forward with a bottle of rum, trying to protect his friend, but Bane grabbed him and lifted him off the floor. Let me guess, the big brother of the group, the protector, Bane hissed as he grabbed the bottle and smashed it against the left side of Harvey's face. You are destined to be a traitor. Your friends are all outlaws, and you, with your principles, your ambitions, you think you can be both outlaw and lawman, friend and enemy, all pretend, and the time for pretending is over. Bane reaches down for a poker chip, setting it on fire and tossing it into the booze. Harvey begins to scream as the fire reaches his face. Now, Harvey glares at Bruce, telling him everything that happened. "I'm so sorry, Harvey. This is all my fault," Bruce whispers. Harvey nods his head, his voice gravelly. "Yes, it is. You gambled, Bruce. You put it all out there. Your friends, the city, everything. Now get out of here." Harvey growls at him. Bruce turns to walk away, but Harvey calls out to him. For a brief moment, his voice has returned to normal. "If it's any consolation, though, I only hate you half the time," he whispers. Bruce quickly leaves the hospital and heads toward Edwards. He finds his friend in the dark. Wires dangle from the ceiling. Bruce steps forward, his eyes widened in horror. "I'm fine, Bruce. Just over here working," Edward says softly as Bruce reaches for him. "He didn't hurt me. He challenged me to a battle of wits. He said if I won, he'd let me kill him. He even handed me his gun. Can you believe it?" Edward whispers. He explains that it only took a minute for Bane to beat him, and then the killer reached for his head, gouging his eyes out, and before he knew it, Bane shook him, slamming the front of his brain into his skull, the frontal lobe, the part responsible for intelligence. I could feel it. It was wild. Suddenly, facts became questions. Questions everywhere, Edward says. He lifts his head and almost looks at Bruce. His brain is exposed where he has connected the wires to it. "He helped me. He challenged me. He challenged all of us to become more, to become what we're meant to be," Edward whispers. Bruce grits his teeth at his friend. "Eddie, we need to get you to a hospital," he starts to say. But suddenly, he doubles over in pain as he feels the venom pumping through his system once again. Eddie smiles at him. "Looks like he challenged you too, Bruce. So, riddle me this. What are you gonna do about it?" Eddie asks him. Later, Bruce returns to his bunker and finds Alfred preparing for war. Bruce changes and reaches out to his other allies, ordering them to stand down. "It's off," he says to the red-hooded person on the other line. "Off? Nothing's off! You don't get to tell the Red Hood gang anything!" the person shouts, but Batman hangs up. He hangs his head and looks to Alfred. "So that's it, kid? Are you closing down operations?" Alfred asks as he straps on his body armor. Bruce slams his hand against the desk. "He broke them, Pennyworth. My friends!" Batman hisses. Alfred nods in understanding. "That's right. He did. The question is, are you going to let him break you?" the older man asks. Suddenly, red lights begin to flash. "Someone's breached the hatch," Batman hisses as the bunker is plunged into darkness. "It's him. He's here. Bane," Alfred whispers. He reaches down into his weapons locker and pulls out a minigun, readying the massive weapon. "All right. He loves war so much. Let's bloody give it to him," he says as Batman stands behind him with his battle axe. Batman slips into the shadows as Alfred moves forward, readying his weapon. But something reaches out from the shadows and pulls him up, punching him in the face twice before dropping him unconscious to the floor. Batman steps out of the shadows and glares at their intruder. "You! What are you doing here?" he hisses. Selina frowns at him. "Well, hello to you too, Bruce," she says. The past. Bruce and Selina are working together. Selina had always said that if the rules aren't fair, stop playing by them. Now, Bruce is taking that to heart, helping Waylon with his fight. The two of them stand on the golf course, flanked by Carmine Falcone's bodyguards, while they watch the mob boss line up his driver. Kids, I gotta say, showing up with no appointment, sneaking through the bushes, you got nerve, he says. Selina taps the bag of money that she's carrying. We've come to offer you a deal, Mr. Falcone, she says. He glances at them for a moment, finally noticing who he's talking to. Hold on a minute. I know you. You're Waylon Jones's trainer, aren't you? Let me guess. You want Bibbo to go easy on your boy? Or maybe you're looking to cash out? Guess Jones is less of a crocodile and more of a crock of Falcone snorts. The bodyguards laugh, but Bruce ignores them and steps forward. What's in the bag is a gesture. Some of the finest gold work in the city, he says. Falcone shakes his head and turns back to his ball. How do I even know it's real? He asks as he takes his swing. Because it's yours. Stolen from apartments you own, Bruce tells him. Falcone cocks an eyebrow at the two. We're not looking to cash out. We're looking to raise, Selina tells him. Later, Bruce and Selina cuddle on the train as it rumbles along its elevated track over Gotham City, heading away from their meeting. I didn't know you had that in you, Wayne, Selina purrs as she snuggles in closer. Back there with Falcone? I'm impressed. Bruce nods as he stares out at his city. This is how Waylon wins. How we all win, she whispers. The train rumbles on. The present. Selina loosens her whip and drops Alfred to the floor. Batman glares at her. Why are you here, Selina? He growls. She smiles at him from behind her mask. Look at us. Our ears match. I'm here because your mother called me, she purrs. Batman continues to glare. I'll ask one more time. She did, actually. But come on, Bruce. You've been missing for months. I was worried, all right? I came to help, she finally says with a shrug. She nudges at Alfred at her feet, pointing out that his new team doesn't seem too strong. Ugh. I've read about you, the Catwoman. No loyalty. Don't trust her, kid. Alfred groans as he rolls over. Batman nods as he takes a step forward, getting closer to Selina. I don't need the advice. She's leaving. Right now, he growls. Shortly, the pair arrive in Bruce's secret penthouse, overlooking the city. Masks and clothes are pulled off, and the two tumble into bed in the shadows. This is nice, Selina purrs up at Bruce. But the morning eventually arrives. Bruce pulls himself to the edge of the bed as the sun begins to rise over the horizon. Selina rolls over and looks at the crisscrossing of scars across Bruce's back, shaped almost like a bat. The green of venom coursing through his system. Bruce, what did they do to you? She whispers. Is that really what you want to talk about? He asks as he looks over his shoulder. She pulls herself closer, wrapping her arms around his body. He motions at her mask on the floor. So, your helmet. It looks a lot like the gear Black Mask uses, he points out. Selina is quiet for a moment. Is that really what you want to talk about? She asks him. He shakes his head. No. You want to go on a date? He asks as he twists around and kisses her. Shortly, the pair are leaping over the rooftops of Gotham City, heading towards the Gotham Boardwalk. Once a place for families, now the home of the Red Hood Gang, the outlaw collective that Batman was once allied with. The pair stalk forward, but are quickly called out. You're not welcome here! Stand down! Wasn't that your order to us? But we don't take orders from anyone, do we? One of the Red Hoods snaps as he steps out with an axe. A crowd of red hoodie-clad allies behind him. But Batman doesn't back down. We're not leaving until we speak with your leader, Batman growls. The axe wielder shrugs. Have it your way. Get them! He shouts to his army. The hoods rush forward, but Batman and Catwoman easily jump over their assault. "I like this date," Selina says with a smile. She unslings a submachine gun from her back and takes careful aim, firing continuously into the crowd. "What are you doing? They're just kids!" Batman yells as he rushes at her. "You know I hate kids. Take it easy. Just a catnap," she points out, motioning to the unconscious teens, all with tranq darts in them. Above them, another hood readies an RPG on top of the Ferris wheel. "Look out!" Batman yells as rage takes over him. He feels the venom begin to course through his veins, and he rushes forward, slamming hard into the support struts of the ride and destroying the concrete, tipping the whole thing into the water. Selina moves forward cautiously. She can see Bruce's veins pumping the green liquid as he breathes heavily. "What the hell was that? Are you all right?" she begins to say, but Bruce turns to her, his eyes glowing green. "Get away from me! Now!" Bruce snaps at her. Selina looks up, realizing that the Red Hoods have surrounded them. Whispers about the monsters being created inside Arkham move through the crowd. "Bruce, listen to my voice. I'm right here. You need to calm down, okay? Get it under control," she hisses as the hoods close in. But Batman steadies his breathing. He finally looks up and the hoods stop moving. "Wait! I told you to stand down, because the truth is, they almost broke me in a place called Arkham, where they make monsters. Abominations like a man called Bane. But they didn't break me. I'm going to destroy him, his bosses, Arkham. I'm going to burn it all to the ground. But I need your help." Batman growls at them. Murmurs move through the crowd. But finally, one pushes forward. She slides the hood off her head, revealing the Harlequin face paint beneath and a shaved head. "I was never sure about you, but if you're talking about burning down Arkham, you're speaking my language. My name's Harley Quinn, leader of the Red Hood. What's the plan?" she asks with a sneer. Meanwhile, deep within Arkham, the doctors continue to work on Bane. His back is sliced open, revealing the mechanical spine which acts as a delivery system for his venom. Bane is fully awake and stares at Dr. Arkham. "Good news! We've managed to push your system even further. As of this moment, you're officially at maximum infusion," Dr. Arkham tells him, congratulating him on reaching this level of the human body. But Bane merely nods. "And soon you'll have my replacement, and he'll have his new Bane. Then, I can finally go home," he says softly. Arkham raises an eyebrow at the statement. "Forgive me for asking, but you really believe he'll let you go?" she asks. Bane nods. "He has to. I've given him everything. Any moment now, Batman will give in, and my work will be over," Bane whispers. But the conversation is cut short when a technician shouts for Arkham's attention. He motions to the monitors, which show the Gotham local news. The feeds have been hacked, and Batman's face appears to everyone in the city, playing across every television, cell phone, and billboard monitor throughout Gotham. "People of Gotham, our city is under attack. Not by criminals or outlaws, but by its own leaders. They've sold Gotham out to line their own pockets. They've sold our safety, our freedom. There's nothing they won't sell," Batman growls. "They've even sold the ground beneath our feet, where, right now, they're growing actual monsters. Horrors too terrible to imagine. I tried to show you with Black Mask, but I made the mistake of relying on the networks. Not anymore. This time I'll show you myself, because I'm gonna drag one of these monsters out into the light for all of you to see. And then I'm going to beat his ass." Batman continues. I'm talking about you, Bane. I know you're listening. Tomorrow, midnight, the old Veterans Arena. You and me, alone. Batman snaps. You win, and I'll go back to Arkham and become whatever you want. But you won't win. And you, people of Gotham, you get to watch. And just in case any of you are wondering who I am, I'm Batman! Batman growls before the screens go black. The past. Bruce sits with Wayland in the old Veterans Arena, explaining that he made a deal. The end of the 7th way. You last right up to the bell. That's way farther than anyone has you going. Every single site has you down by the 2nd, maybe the 3rd. This way, you get out with dignity, and you make enough cash to open the gym. You win, Bruce tells him. Wayland glances at his friend, explaining that the reason he hired him as his trainer wasn't because of his skill. It was because you're my best friend. I don't want to make a deal. I want to beat them, here, in this ring, with someone in my corner who believes in me, man. I thought you were that person. I guess I was wrong. So you, Bruce Wayne, are fired, Wayland says, pushing Bruce away. Bruce tries to apologize, but Wayland doesn't want any of it. Get out of here. I have a fight to get ready for, Wayland says quietly as he sits back down. Now, in his bunker, Batman stares at his monitors, Catwoman over his shoulder. There's not much around the vet to use to your advantage, she points out, but Bruce shakes his head, pointing out that he's just going to beat Bane, not using any tricks. I get it. You need to promise me one thing. Don't use the venom, Bruce. It's what they want, and it's not worth it. I've seen what it does to people, Selina whispers, but Bruce shakes his head, explaining it's the only way he can beat Bane, that when he used it against the Red Hood kids, he was 50 steps ahead of them. He just needs to learn to control it. It's not the only way. You have people who can help. I can help, Selina points out. You haven't seen him. What he can do, Bruce whispers, not looking at her. He finally glances over his shoulder, pointing out that he knows what her gear means. Look at your helmet, your gear. Don't tell me you got where you are by playing clean, Batman growls, explaining that he will use the venom to beat Bane. If you can't handle it, then maybe you should go. Again, he finally states. Selina stares at him for a moment, before turning to stalk off into the darkness. Maybe I should. Take care of yourself, Wayne, she calls. Later, the Batmobile rumbles through the tunnels of the sewers. Batman gets out and reaches for a cooler. Inside is raw meat. He stands for a few moments, letting the smell waft through the dank of the tunnels. Something smells it through the muck. First, spines break through the water, followed by the head of Killer Croc. Waylon Jones has returned, and Bruce heads to the arena for the final showdown. Alfred looks at Batman and cocks an eyebrow. It's the fight of your life, kid. Are you ready? He asks. Batman nods his head as Alfred continues to study him. There's only enough venom in you for 2 infusions. We use one now as a test. Make sure your system can handle it, and we use the other in the ring against Bane. Alfred continues as he reaches for his pistol. He tries it out and raises it towards Batman. Kid, if your system takes to it, we're good. If not, I'll make it quick, Alfred tells him. Batman nods his head, taking in a few quick breaths, thinking about all his friends and what Bane has done to them. Let's go to war! He snarls as he activates the venom. The drugs course through his body, causing his muscles to grow and his body to morph in grotesque ways. Meanwhile, the people of Gotham are watching the news. The mayor comes out and comments on Batman's recent message to the city, affirming that there is no secret compound beneath the city that is creating monsters, no secret group that is running things. The only monster in this city is him, and whatever dangerous theatrics he was planning tonight at Veterans Arena will not be happening. We insist that everyone honor the 11 p.m. curfew put in place after the Black Mask attack, and remain home and safe from Batman's lawless violence. Thank you, and God bless Gotham, Mayor Hill says before signing off. Mayor Hill immediately turns to Police Chief Bullock after the camera feed's cut. So the fight happens at midnight. It came straight from above. No one gets within 10 blocks of that place, except for Batman and him, the mayor orders. Bullock doesn't like it, but he nods his head. Yes, sir, he grunts. Far beneath the city, Bane has put on his massive coat, and he strides towards the exit, with Dr. Arkham following him. You should be aware. According to our data, Subject 27 likely has at least one infusion left in his system. With the recent enhancement, there's no comparison, Dr. Arkham reminds him. Bane nods. I'm counting on it. If his system tolerates the venom, he can be your new project from now on. All I want is a long rest, Doctor. One more fight, and I'll have it, he calls over his shoulder. It was some time in the past when Waylon Jones entered the veteran arena. The crowd cheered and booed. No one was at his back. He thought his friends no longer believed in him. Now, Bane walks into the dark arena. No crowds, no cheers. Well, here I am. I said here I am! Where's your champion? He bellows into the darkness. The lights suddenly snap on, revealing Batman standing before him. Hello, the Dark Knight growls. Nearby, Alfred powers up the Bat Tank, making sure all weapons are primed. All right, kid. Remember the plan. You wear him down. Keep at him until he uses up all his venom. And then, you use yours and finish it, Alfred says over the comms. Stop talking. It's time. Harley? Batman grunts. Up in the stands, Harley readies herself, shouting to the other Red Hoods. Buzzing fills the air as a small army of drones float down, zipping around the arena and recording everything, sending it to the people of Gotham. Bane smiles beneath his mask. Ah, the Great Republic watches. I hope you've learned some new techniques so we can give them an actual spectacle. So, your move, Bane says. Batman nods gently and steps down on the detonator. Bane turns his head at the sounds of explosions behind him. He watches as the explosion rips through a building. The building begins to shift and fall, tumbling towards him. Bane's eyes widen in shock. I call this move, Welcome to Gotham, Batman calls to him. Bane lets out a single laugh before the building slams down, and Bane disappears beneath the rubble. But Batman knows that the fight is just beginning. Bane rises up, his body augmented from the venom. His muscles bulge and squirm beneath his skin. You think I don't see what you're doing, little one? Bane says as he stomps forward. Batman doesn't move. Fire! He orders over the comms. The Bat Truck suddenly launches through the destruction, firing twin grapple lines from the front bumper, impaling Bane from behind. The lines snap tight and pull the Bat Truck even faster, and the massive truck slams into Bane, bringing him to his knees. But Bane isn't done. He stands quickly and grabs hold of the lines, pulling them and whipping the bat truck away. Inside, Alfred holds on tight as he is tossed around. "Come on! Is that all you've got?" he demands. Now, Batman is moving. He charges forward, leaping quickly and lashing out with his tendril cape. Batman can't match Bane's speed and power, but he makes up for it in brutality. The sharp tendrils stab into Bane's eye, and with the flick of the cape, Batman pulls the eye from its socket, bringing a scream of pain from Bane. Batman leaps over his back, using the momentum to stab his batarangs into Bane's spine before running towards his head and leaping away. But the venom is flowing now, a constant stream into Bane's bloodstream. His body is growing. His skin is strained to hold the muscles and tendons as they become supercharged. Bane whirls quicker than he should be able to at his size and grabs Batman's cape, pulling it tight and slamming Batman into the ground. "You know, we're not that different, you and me. The truth is, I look at you and I see myself. Young, stupid, but playtime is over. So go on now." Bane orders as he reaches out and grabs Batman with one hand. "Use it! It's your only move," Bane orders. But Batman shakes his head. "Not quite. Now!" he growls. In the stands, Harley nods at the order. "Release the Green Machine!" she shouts to her Red Hoods. Chains are pulled tight, and a section of the floor is moved away. There is a roar from the darkness, and Waylon Jones leaps out. Now, the Killer Croc. Batman struggles to his feet and pulls free his battle axe as the Croc wraps around their enemy, its massive jaws sinking into flesh and tearing it away, swallowing it whole. Batman moves in to help his friend, swinging his axe and taking out a chunk of Bane. "What? No fancy quote?" Batman bellows. Bane reaches down and grabs him, tossing him away. "Towards gnats and fleas, we show no pity." Bane mumbles. His body is still growing. Batman flies through the air and slams into the stands. He lays there for a moment, until Harley rushes to his side. "Bats! Hey!" she shouts as she leans over him. "So this is probably when someone should give you an inspirational speech, but I'm just gonna tell you to get the f*** up. Cool?" she asks. Batman nods as he struggles up. "Cool," he growls. Harley raises her rifle and opens fire on Bane, shooting several bursts into him. "Now get back in there and save that alligator," Harley shouts over the gunfire. "Crocodile," Batman mumbles as he leaps back into the fight. Bane reaches down and grabs hold of Waylon's jaws, preparing to rip them apart. His body is still too big, too powerful, and still fusing with the venom. Alfred is watching the fight. "Kid, he just keeps infusing with the venom. I don't know what his max level is, or if he even has one anymore," Alfred shouts over the comms, suggesting that Batman use the venom in his own system to merely survive the fight and escape. "No, we stick to the plan," Batman shouts as he leaps in to save his friend. "Waylon!" he bellows as he leaps towards Bane. Long ago, Bruce and Selina watched Waylon fight from their place in Falcone's private box. Waylon comes out swinging, wailing on Bibbo Babowski, hitting him again and again. But Waylon is supposed to go down in the 7th. He starts to get tired. Bilbo begins to hit him harder and harder. Waylon is struggling. Finally, Bruce has had enough and walks out, heading down towards the ring. He pushes past the security as Bibbo gets Waylon in a chokehold. Waylon is struggling, but he opens his eyes to see his friend is there. Way, come on, Way! Don't give up! Bruce shouted. Now, Batman sails through the air to help his friend, bringing his axe down with explosive power into Bane's spine. The venom-fused giant lets out a roar of pain as his legs give out, and he drops the monstrous crocodile. Bane groans as he struggles to stand, and Batman takes the moment to go to his friend. Waylon lets out a whine of pain as Batman kneels before him. It's all right, Way. Go. And thank you. I got this. Batman whispers. Waylon sinks away, disappearing once more beneath the city. Batman turns back and walks onto the immobile body of Bane. I severed your spine at the thoracic, which means you can't use your legs anymore. But that's okay. You still have your arms. Batman growls. He raises his axe and brings it back down, impaling it into Bane's flesh. Oh man, now you can't use your arms either. But hey, you can still bite me, Batman says. Bane lets out a growl as he starts to get back up, the venom pumping through his system again. Back in Ark M, Dr. Arkham is watching Bane's vitals. Her eyes widen in shock as his body is pushed past what they thought possible. The venom courses through his veins and Bane pushes past the pain, raising up on his broken body. You think you can win? That you're better than me? You're nothing! Bane bellows, grabbing Batman and slamming him into the ground again. He brings his fist down over and over. His body is massive now, bigger than anything humanly possible. I've given everything. Also, my people and my home could be safe, because this is war. But I'm done. It's your turn now. Your turn! Bane bellows. The past. Waylon looks up at his friend. Come on, Way, don't give up, Bruce shouts. Determination can be seen in Waylon's eyes. He grabs hold of Bibbo and suddenly flips through the air, slamming Bibbo into the mat and knocking him out. Now, Bane glares down at Batman. His body is grotesque, the venom all but replacing his blood. Strange eyes seem to grow from his skin, blinking at a new world. Extra mouths begin to open on his shoulder, opening and closing. Now use it, Bane orders. Batman struggles to his knees and nods. All right, you win. You want me to use the venom? I'll use it. He coughs. Catwoman, take the shot, he orders. Up in the stands, Selina raises the rifle to her shoulder and fires. I got you, baby, she says over the comms. The rounds thunder through the air, and the venom syringes slam into Bane's back, directly into the venom-infusing machine, pushing him even further. His body continues to grow, but it's too much. His muscles explode! Wounds open all over his body, but blood doesn't come out. It is the glowing green of the venom. 2 days ago, Selina watches as Eddie leans over Bruce, his long skeletal fingers clacking together as he smiles his strange twitching smile. So, how much stuff am I taking out of you again? Eddie asks. All of it, Eddie. Every drop. I'll beat him my way, Bruce said as Catwoman injected the venom into the syringes. Now, Batman stands before the amorphous mass of tissue that was once Bane. He motions Alfred forward with the bat truck, and they load Bane into the back, taking the time to dump him into the harbor. His friends watch from the hospital, with Harvey cheering as Batman dumps Bane's body. But Oswald is quiet. still struggling to breathe. Later, Selena sits on a plane, flying away from Gotham, from her past. She looks down at the case on her lap that holds the rest of the venom that she took from Bruce. Meanwhile, beneath the city, in the secret labs of Arkham, Dr. Arkham stands before a stasis tube of venom and smiles at the brain that floats there. A brain connected to two eyes, with a section of spine and various organs. Well, good morning. I must say, Bane, you're looking wonderful today, she says cheerfully, as the remains of Bane float. Your cells, they're just a marvel, but someone else wants to talk to you, Arkham says as she moves a screen in front of the tube. The eyes stare at the Joker as he appears. Bane, I just want to put your mind at ease. This whole incident I see as a minor setback, Joker says, explaining that he knows Bane wanted to retire to Santa Prisca and lay around with his family. But the Joker knows that wouldn't really make him happy, that Bane loves the fight, loves war. So, as your friend, I'd like to help. I'm going to free you so you can focus on what you really love. Unburdened, liberated, Joker explains. The images shift to a view of Santa Prisca as a bomber flies overhead. The bombs drop, and the eyes of Bane watch unblinking as his island, his home, and his family are all turned to ash. And that was the full story for Absolute Batman issues 7 through 14 by Scott Snyder, the Absolute Zero and Abomination arcs. There was one annual that I excluded, but we'll include a link down below so you can go check that out on the main channel. But let me know down below what you thought about today's full story. Like and subscribe to help out the channel, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.